Today is a very special day for me. It is March 1st, 2023. And the reason I'm recording this video is because obviously I want to celebrate this date since I started my business exactly 2 years ago today. And number two, this is inspired by a man named Iman Gaji. I've been watching a lot of his videos. He's a young entrepreneur, just 1 year older than me, maximum, maybe only half a year, a few months. And he documented his entire journey from 2016 or 2015 even when he was 14, 15 years old and just starting his business, not even knowing he was starting a business, right? Not even knowing what it was called, all the way to where he is now, like 30 million net worth. And I know for a fact that I'm going to achieve something big in this lifetime. I don't know when exactly it's going to happen, but I'm determined to achieve something great. So I want to be able to look back someday and say, look at Leah in her little dorm room, right? This is literally 8 square meters. I don't have a fancy setup right now. Okay, I'm a grad student. And when I started my business 2 years ago, I was an undergrad student. So very similar situation, very bootstrapped, had to get resourceful, didn't have much money 2 years ago to invest in mentors. So I had to save up by teaching and serving in one of the only ways I knew how to do back then, which was teaching English, right? Just thought, what value can I give to the marketplace? So anyway, we're not gonna talk all about that. What I wanna focus on in this video is in the past 2 years, I've obviously learned a lot. I've helped over 400 clients transform their time management, establish high performance habits, and a routine that fulfills them, gives them free time and time with family, friends, and themselves, taking care of themselves while also scaling their business or improving their finances job-wise. Right. And really, my entrepreneurial journey, I want to sum it up to you in the past 2 years with 5 stages. So this is especially helpful for those of you who are looking to start an online business, or you recently started. Maybe you're going through some ups, but then constant downs, or maybe right now, like you're at a really low point. Well, I hope this inspires you, because I've been there too. I've been through some massive ups and also some massive lows. And there were times, several times, when I thought, am I cut out for this? Should I just give up? But I kept on pushing through, and I cannot tell you how thankful I am to have done so. So please do not give up. If you believe, if you just know deep down in your heart that you're on the right path, do not give up. Doesn't matter what other people say, doesn't matter what that lower self, that nagging voice, that bit of self-doubt in you says, push through. Okay? So stage 1, this is how it all started. Stage 1, I call it taking the plunge. This is where you have to decide and you have to make a commitment. Now, a lot of people throw around this word commitment, decision way too much. Do you know what a decision/commitment actually means? Let's focus on the word commitment. What does that actually mean? It means cutting out all other options, right? You cut off all other options, meaning you only have one, right? And the reason I believe that so many of us are not committed and we're not getting what we want or achieving the levels of success that we want and we know we're capable of is because we are not committed, right? We haven't cut off all other options yet. We're still lingering a bit in this activity and that activity, this business, this hobby, that hobby. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have all these interests and explore different hobbies, but you have to make a decision and 100% commitment to mastering one skill. And that's a skill that you can monetize, right? So for me, I was inspired by one of my first mentors. His name is Richard Yu. I saw him start a coaching business. He completely changed my life by helping me transform my habits. And so I decided, you know what? I want to become a coach. I know deep down this is what I want. It's what I'm made to do. Right? I'm not made to sit in a little cubicle and analyze numbers all day. I'm not made for that. Okay, I'm made for human interaction. I'm made to talk in front of people, inspire people, right? Push people, coach people. So even though it was super uncomfortable, and by the way, guys, this was when I had maybe just a few hundred, few thousand in my bank account. That's it. So very limited on cash. I was 21. I had zero experience coaching or running a business. You know, even a few months before making that decision, I would have never imagined that I would start a business. Like, I was the shyest kid, hiding behind my parents' legs, right? When I was young, my parents told me I would never go up to other kids and play with them, right? It's so common, kids at the playground, you play with whoever. No, I was always hiding on the side, observing, right? So to go out, build my own business, make sales, put myself on camera, share my vulnerabilities, that's something I could have never imagined just a few months before making that commitment to starting my business. But I did, okay? I invested a lot of money in myself, I made a commitment, and that's when I went all in. Okay, so that's stage one, taking the plunge. Stage two is conquering your fears. Okay, this is where you have to start doing all those things that initially seem really scary to you. So for me, sales was a big one. Okay, I saw sales as something bad. I thought of car salesmen, pushy, right, arrogant, like I was stealing money from people, right? I have no idea where these beliefs even came from. And now I realize they're completely false. But back then, that's what I thought. So I had to overcome a lot of these initial and beginner fears, like selling, especially to friends, right? My first 14 clients, in fact, I got in my first 30 days of going through my selling cycle. First 14 clients, 80% of them, at least 10, were people I knew, either close friends or college acquaintances or family friends. I knew them, right? So to ask them, and back then, $500, my first offer, I had no idea about pricing. $500 seemed crazy to me. Like, who the heck would hand me $500, right? So I charged $500, and to be frank, I probably had no idea what I was doing. I mean, obviously I had my script and all, but deep down, it was just, let me try this out, right? I was shaking on my first sales call, or first few, not even my first. My first few sales calls, I was stuttering. I mean, I didn't even have a proper standing desk. I remember propping up my computer onto this really small stand we had where we put all our keys at home. So again, just starting with very minimal resources, right? But I made it happen, and you can too. So again, stage two, conquering fears. That's, for me, that was selling. It was speaking on camera. Guys, if you look back to me prior to October 2020, I could not speak on camera. I could barely speak in person to more than 3-4 people. I had massive social anxiety growing up, and I would genuinely feel really nervous in social situations, to the point where my palms would sweat, right? Anytime I had to stand on stage, give a presentation, or not stage, like I'm talking in front of the classroom, give a presentation, or if I had to just raise my hand in a large lecture hall, I would get sweaty palms. My heart would start racing. So none of this was normal for me. I literally took it one day at a time, right? Every day, forced myself to post one piece of content, one Instagram story, Facebook story, and then one post. And that's how I built up that skill, right? And then also improvisation, right? That's something you have to learn to do when you start to build a business, like on a call, right? If you don't know exactly how to handle an objection, well, then you simply have to make an educated guess, right? Improvise on the spot. You got to still stay confident, right? Because if you're not, then they're not going to buy from you. So that was another one. Okay, that was stage two. Now stage three, this is where it gets better, right? And this, for me, is what I call getting initial results, right? It was getting my first client and being completely just on top of the moon. I remember my first sales call, I told my dad, who I was living with at the time, hey, don't come back for the next hour. Like, go outside, don't come in. I can't have you in the house. That's how nervous I was. I was like, no sound at all. Okay, I was dressed in something super, super formal to cover up certain insecurities and fears and all of those weird feelings bubbling up inside. So yeah, it's getting that first client and just realizing, oh my goodness, this actually works. I can actually do this. Right? And then once you get your first client, then you want to get your second and your third and your fourth and your fifth, and it just snowballs from there, right? The more calls you take, the more confidence you have that this actually works. Okay, and now stage 4. This is evolving into a leader, right? Think about it. Once you start getting clients, it's no longer just taking responsibility for yourself and becoming the best version of you, but it's, for me especially in the coaching industry, it is my responsibility to help my clients become the best version of themselves, right? That's a big part of why they're working with me and investing in me, because they want my help to change their time management and habits. So it's obviously delivering everything promised on time, right? The small things, going to coaching calls on time, anything promised, doing it on time and not being late, okay? Getting clients results, again, going back to taking responsibility, not just for yourself, but for clients, pushing them, calling them out. That's, again, something I had to work on a lot, okay? I'm not used to calling people out. I'm not used to being tough on people, right? It's a lot easier to say, hey, it's okay, you didn't do this week or today. Just do it tomorrow, right? In a really soft tone. It's always easier to not call people out. But when you realize, hey, that's really the only way to get people moving, right? And sometimes all of us need that tough love. You got to do it. The first time's uncomfortable, right? I probably went a bit red. I probably had a bit of hesitation in me. But again, the more you practice, the better you get. Okay? And lastly, stage 5. And obviously, I mean, this is just a simple form. There are probably many more stages after this, and I'm only 2 years in. But at this point, stage 5, that's when you get to the next level. Okay, think getting to the next level, because now you've got, some clients, your first group of clients, let's say, and you've become more and more of a leader, right? Helping your clients get results, but you're also evolving into a better and better version of yourself every day. You're growing, you're challenging yourself, and most likely this is when your growth curve looks like this, right? It definitely was for me when I got my first few clients, and I really had to step up my game, right? I had to actually become a coach. It's not that easy. That's when the growth curve, the learning curve, everything just went like boom, okay? And so stage 5 is getting to the next level. And this is when you start getting feedback from your clients, right? And you realize, hey, there's a next level and a next level, because you get feedback again, right? So you keep on revising your service or product, whatever you have. So for me, we've gone through 4, 5 seasons of the program. And by seasons, I don't mean cohorts, because we're an ongoing program. What I mean is improving the program, right? So restructuring the modules, adding bonus modules, guest speakers, partnering, those kind of things. Like improving the program, versions of the program, 5 versions so far. So that comes from practice, feedback from clients, right? And at this point, it's just the concept is proven. I know I can do it. I've been doing it for 2 years, right? Made some pretty good money. And I know I could keep on going like this however I want, because I know the system. Okay, the entire cycle from marketing, your content, to your conversations, to your closing, to then delivery, right? I know the entire cycle. I know the system, up, down, left, right. So it's just about how do you take it to the next level now? And my next step is I want to service high-level business owners, entrepreneurs, right? Help them solve bigger problems, such as, very common one is, even though, like if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, even though you're making a lot of money, right, you're basically a slave to your business. And I know this sounds extremely harsh, but I've even been through this, so I know how it feels like, right? Just think about it for a second. Like you're doing much more in your business than you should be, right? You could be using much more cash flow to delegate, but you're kind of still doing all this yourself, and you're burning yourself out, and you don't have enough time for friends, family, you time. It's probably cutting into your sleep, right? So just this overwork, the cycle of overwork and not delegating enough. So now I'm going to step into this space, and let's see where the future takes us. I hope this was inspiring for you. And again, for those of you who are just starting out on your entrepreneurial journey, just put one foot in front of the other. And then 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, however many years later, look back in awe. I promise you that's what's going to happen. Just don't give up. Okay? Let's go.